Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the ISB podcast. I'm your host Sahil. Very special episode. We're covering the Copa America Group D, Brazil and Costa Rica, Colombia and Paraguay. Very special episode because I went to the Brazil Costa Rica match, and let me tell you, it was a disaster, and not a disaster from Los Ticos perspective, because the Ticos fans, Costa Rica played a fantastic match. Great defense. I would have liked to see the odd chance here and there, which they didn't take, but they were very solid and they played exactly what they needed in their game plan. I want to talk about Brazil because that was poor, 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 poor. If I could say poor more times, I would say poor. Brazil was a disaster. Very individualistic. Vini Jr. takes the ball on his own and tries to beat players, tries to score on his own, isn't able to do it. Rodrigo, same thing. Endrick came in, didn't make much of a difference. Martinelli came in, didn't make much of a difference. Sure, the defenders played fine, but they really weren't challenged at all. I don't remember if Allison even touched the ball once, but you know, even their goals, right? The goal that was disallowed, that's coming off a set piece. It wasn't created in open play at all. And yes, Brazil had chances. They had chances to score. They probably should have won the match anyway. They hit the post twice. But that doesn't take away from the fact that this was a horrendous performance as a whole, because there just doesn't seem to be any chemistry in terms of what kind of style is being played here, right? Every time they try to cross the ball, it would be overhit. Or every time they try to make a pass, it would be, especially in the final third, the passing was off. The passing was off. The finishing was off. The pace was very slow. As soon as Costa Rica turned the ball back to Brazil, Brazil would slow it down again. I don't know what is going on here, and it's such a far cry from the Brazil teams of the past. Even the Brazil team during the World Cup, we saw that was a good team. The team that Croatia beat in penalties, that was a good team. They were moving the ball, and now we get this. And it's very interesting because not just the neutrals, who obviously they wanted to see Brazil flourish, but the Brazil fans themselves in the stadium were extremely frustrated with what's going on and what they were seeing. And I'll tell you why it's matters, because let's get to the other result of the day. You know, it's you're going to be playing a Colombia team that that basically they defeated Paraguay. They didn't play their best match either, in my opinion. There was moments where they could have improved, right? James had a nice assist, which is what called out here. But, I thought Paraguay had a lot of shots as well themselves. I think to the very end of the match, when Paraguay, after they got the goal and could have pushed, I thought Colombia had the little bit of the better of it at that point in time. But you're going to play a Colombia team that actually can improve on the performance that they played in this last match with Brazil. And even Paraguay, I was actually impressed by Enciso. I thought he had a pretty decent game overall. Will Brazil be okay moving forward? Probably. But this Colombia team is no joke. And like I said, in this match, they dominated the initial portion. Then they kind of let Paraguay go back into the match. And then I felt like the end, they were comfortable as well. It's going to be a tough matchup for Brazil. And I think, Brazilian fans, this is definitely, forget about challenging for the tournament. At this point in time, you have to worry about getting out of the group. So I want to turn it over to a Brazilian fan who was at the match with me, and we'll finish the episode there. As you saw in the beginning, Los Ticos fans, good for you, because that was a great result for the Ticos fans. And if they could have nicked the odd chance, it would have even been a better result. But Brazil fans, let's hear what's going on. Welcome to a very special edition of the ISB podcast. I'm your host, Sahil. I'm here with a Brazilian fan. We're doing something a little different because we were at the Sofi game today between Brazil and Costa Rica. For those that didn't catch the earlier game, Colombia defeated Paraguay 2-1. And so, how are you feeling after a 0-0 tie by Brazil?
It's tough. I feel like they had a lot of chances. They should have scored. There's a big penalty shout in the first half. Should have been a penalty. Outside of that, they had a bunch of chances they couldn't get through.
What about Vini Jr.? What did you rate his performance today?
Yeah, Vini had a tough game. He hasn't really come on for Brazil the way he does with Real Madrid, but he was. I was surprised they took him off. Like, I think It would have been better to keep him on and let it work out. But yeah, tough game. I don't know. I'd give him like a 6.
Yeah. Do you think anything Costa Rica did specifically made it very hard for Brazil? Or, I mean, obviously they missed chances. There was, off the post, everything like that. But
a lot of low block. Like their low block was really solid, kind of like the 2014 Costa Rica team. But they just, they got through all the tackles. They were able to just like keep the ball and under pressure, and then always like found a way out of danger. So they played really well.
What did you think of the Brazilian coach's substitutions and trying to get, the team going? Obviously, had Endrick come in, Martinelli come in. I didn't really feel like they really had a put their staple in the game.
Yeah, I would say it was too late. Like I wish they came 10 minutes earlier. But like, yeah, they both came on and they didn't do much. So it was more of the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard now moving forward, I think, because it's created a very interesting situation for the Brazil-Colombia game.
Yes.
And as a Brazil fan, I think it's kind of become a little bit of a scary match, right?
Yeah, I mean, Colombia's been good. They beat the U.S. 5-1, so they have a much better team now. So they kind of have to win that game in order to make themselves comfortable. So it'll be a tough game. Yeah,
just overall now, like this is something different that we wanted to do, but like after going to a Copa America game in person, what's the experience like?
Oh, it was awesome. It was such a vibe. Like, I think there's a lot of passion, like everywhere you look. So it was just so cool to see it live. Way different from what the Euros feel like on TV. So it was great to see it up like that so far.
Yeah. So for all you viewers out there, go check out a Copa America match. If you've been enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the channel. We'll be back with our regularly scheduled program tomorrow. But final on the day, Brazil 0, Costa Rica 0, Colombia 2, Paraguay 1. Time for Brazil to step it up, right, Uncle?
Yep.
See y'all next time.